Traders, welcome back to the channel, and today we got the close above $11. A lot of calls expired in the money and things look pretty decent if you ask me. Now there is a lot of momentum going into this next week, March 19th, and I believe we could see outstanding volume here on the stock. Options going into March 19th and later could absolutely skyrocket. So me personally, I'm looking pretty good right now. And if you have options out of the money, I think they very well could push to in the money very, very soon. But before we get into the TA, before we get into the content here on AMC, I need you to do a few things. Hit the sub button down below, leave a thumbs up, and make sure you have the notifications turned on. I'm posting videos about the stocks that I love and the stocks that you guys are requesting every single day. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go over the borrow rate and a few other things regarding the stock, especially the volume, because the volume is very, very important. And then we're going to cover the basic TA. This isn't going to be a long video at all, so stay with me. Let's get right to it. Okay, so let's start with the earnings. Now, very, very quick stuff. We overall beat on both of the things we needed to, EPS and revenue, both with some pretty good upside. This is earning whispers, so go look for yourself. Don't want to spend too much time here, but this was very bullish news, and I honestly did not see this coming. I don't think anyone really thought AMC would beat, but they did. The apes have a win in the column. Let's go over to the borrow rate. This is kind of discouraging. Yes, the borrow rate is very, very down. The fee is very, very low. It's kind of funny. You see the borrow rate go down, the overall fee for these shorts, as the price is overall skyrocketing. You can see the price going way up in value, but the rate to get into shorts has gotten cheaper, making no sense. However, I do have a theory that potentially some shorts were covered, but let's get back into that here in a second. So the borrow rate is definitely getting cheaper, which isn't as bullish as you would like to see. The overall shares to be shorted has risen back up to about 5 million, so keep that into account. That is not that bullish, but as we look at the volume, as we look at everything coming into play, as we look at all the calls expiring in the money, all that type of stuff, it's getting very, very interesting. Now, let's look at the historical data. As you can see, we closed at 1116, pushed up to 1120 in the after hours, looking very, very bullish. Now, this is when we kind of consolidated under 940. We had a few videos going out about that, and you can see we overall just held around 70 to 59 million, give or take, bouncing about an average of 62 million a day. And then we got the massive volume. We got the very big move, breaking 940, as we mentioned, the very key resistance we had to break. And from there, lots of good volume. The lowest day was 83 million yesterday, which we still saw a very, very good move. And this was coming off of this very, very manipulated movement that we saw on AMC. Now, this is what has me interested. This movement, everything we have going on here. Now, let's look really closely and see exactly what's going on. Now, you can see a bunch of resistance lines, but I want to focus on a few right here. Now, this right here represents that 940 resistance that it took us so long to get above. This is going to be a very, very strong support. If we dump down, as long as we hold 940, I remain very, very bullish. I mentioned this yesterday. It looks extremely strong, but we're not even getting a retest of that level again. We had the one test, we slingshot rubber banded back up, looking very, very bullish. Higher low, higher low, higher low across the board, and now making higher lows on an uptrend. Monday morning could not look more positive. Now, I'm not saying we're going to get a push to $20 instantly. That's not what I'm saying, but the overall price action here looks extremely, extremely, extremely bullish. I suspect the next push we get out of this zone right here. Let's delete all these other zones so we can see a very clear resistance right there. This red line right here. Once we break above this line, I suspect we maybe get a retest if you're lucky for some entries and then a push up. I do not suspect we hold or double top at all here. Now, another thing that had me very bullish looking on the stock was the OBV. However, we're seeing a bit of resistance. This is going to be very, very key. If the OBV continues down this path, things could get bad. Now, the buyers are showing up. The buyers showed up at the end of the day to push back above 11 and hold that overall range where we talked about in the live, and that's where we suspected we would hold. And that was kind of the key and best case scenario in my opinion, holding above 11. Holding above 10 would have been big as well, but 11 turned out major, major key as well. So I like what I'm seeing here. Lots of upside. The OBV looking a little bit negative, but this could easily turn around come Monday morning, especially with all these calls expiring in the money. Another thing to look at, we're sitting on top of this VWAP, right? As we look, you can see us trending on top of the VWAP, just trending on top of the VWAP, showing the momentum is on the bull side. Now, what does this mean? Looking at the VWAP, what does history tell us about when we start trending like this? Typically, this lasts longer than one day. This lasts longer than one little leg up. You can see once we get above the VWAP, we tend to stay there, continuing the whole typically 5-wave process on the VWAP. And so that is very, very important. And this is the first time we've gotten above that since our break back below 940. And then we got back above it. So now we're getting that one retest, almost a retest of 940, getting back above VWAP. I would personally project, looking at the stock, we get a push to the 1450 before getting back below the VWAP. If we start pushing below VWAP and holding on the 15-minute, that would make me pretty bearish, but ultimately I would be targeting that 940 maybe if we start pushing back on the downside. So to clarify, what am I looking at right now? I think we're bullish. I think we're going to get the push up. I think we're going to start pushing and getting above $12 range very, very easily come Monday morning. Now, past this, what's the resistance? We have the 12.8. That's going to be a big one. 12.8 to 13. That's a big, big resistance right there. And then we have this 14.5. If we break above 14.5, where do we go? Tyler, where do we go? From that range, very, very easily do I see us testing the $17 range. $17, there's no resistance in that range. 14.5, 15 is kind of a cap, and then $2 is going to be the next resistance at 17. And things could continue to get very interesting. But the only thing that looks rather negative is this right here. We're breaking this little pennant back to the downside on the OBV. OBV sometimes leads the overall stock, so this has me a bit concerned. But what we want to see coming into the week, we want to see the OBV perking back up, that volume continuing to pop up, especially the buyers on here. We don't want to see people selling stock. Now, options, you can get out and get back in, make those longer. That's a smart thing to do. That's what I did. I dropped my last options, just made them a little bit longer and got some more of the ones I already had and doubled down, to make more plays as we had that dip. That's what we looked at there. And then we want to see more volume coming in on the overall stock. That's what we'd like to see here. And if the Nasdaq can continue to look pretty bullish and make this recovery, I think the AMC has a lot of momentum coming into the week, especially with the reopening plays. It looks very, very promising. Short-term target, 12.8. Longer term, I'm looking at the end of the week, maybe 14.5. Longer than that, we want to see 17 very, very soon. If we get above 17, guys, I'm telling you, 25 is in the books. But we have to break that 17. But what am I looking for this week? 14.5 coming up is going to be very, very important and a very big resistance. Okay, looking at AMC, it looks very, very strong. You could not have asked for a better close on the week. 2 really strong weeks. We're going into the 19th, that quadruple witching. Everything is lining up. Typically the most volume week of the month, maybe even of the year. It looks extremely strong. AMC could easily get that push to 14.5. Honestly, $17 is in the works, but we want to see how we maintain going into the week, how the volume continues to go. I'll be live every single day, going over the stock, where I see it's going. Am I adding more call options, everything like that? But currently sitting in 38 call options for the 19th at $15 strikes. I'm going to be looking to extend those as well through the week. That's been the overall play. We sell a little bit on the high, get back on the dips, add more options every single time on these dips, extending those out to maintain the overall risk and mitigate a lot of it as well. That's been the play, to continue to get more and more options. We've grown it from overall 10 to 38 now. It's looking very, very promising. We love what we're seeing. We love the volume. We love everything going on currently. We're getting overall a full pushback from that big dip that we had. Looks very, very promising. 14.5 is the target for this coming week. Monday morning, I want to see 12.8. The volume looks positive. I definitely can see it happening. This is not financial advice though, guys. Do your own due diligence. Make sure you're investing money that only you know and can give yourself permission to do, guys. Do not act on YouTube videos or anything people are saying. This is just overall to point out things that I'm seeing in the market. Do not act on these things alone. Do your own due diligence. You are responsible for your money and your investments alone. You cannot blame anyone else for your actions. But that's going to wrap up this video, guys. If you got anything out of this, hit the sub button down below and have the notifications turned on. And a big thumbs up does always make Tyler pretty happy. Have a good one, boys. Namaste.